Okay, let me share the screen to you. Okay, so today's session is mainly into this area, role of IoT in smart grid analytics. Okay, so people who doesn't understand, right? This is a high level technical. So people might be from the background of IT, means energy or electrical or computers or like how the source of energy. To just to give you a background of this, mainly this is taken from the basically from the background of the utilities market, utilities from the market. Okay, so this is what mainly related to the operations of any smart grid. I know most of the people might be knowing or not knowing the smart grid. So, but to give in a more high level information, right? Grid is something, right, where it is the storage of the energy. Like what are the different sources, right? Today in the market, whether it comes from the renewable energy or unrenewable, so that to high level, right, it's just like a storage where the all the energy can be stored and then it can be distributed accordingly. So this particular diagram what I was talking about is today's the market is driven holistically on the smart grid. So today's market, you go any type it out and see, right, India is also trying to move into this kind of a smart grid to make the energy efficient. So in that, right, so these are the operations, right, the divisions what IEEE or the standards has told that, okay, if I want a electricity to smart grid, because every state should be very grid smart, or India smart grid, and any country smart grid. So if they have to become a smart, like today, you know, right, because of the whole agenda in this idea is, right, how the first is the domain, the business, and then later what I want to go is how to apply IT to that. So today's mostly the smart grid operations is more on the operation technology. So this, you know, right, why IoT is becoming popular is that is because of the operations. Previously, if you talk about the 10 years, last 10 years, all the consulting companies and all the companies or the clients mainly look at the IT, how my business can be supported by the IT. And there is a totally gap because for example, business may ask something, but IT may give it something. So always it's the technology driven business, not business driven technology. But the recent innovation by IoT, big data, analytics, data chip, infrastructure chip, cloud, and everything, what exactly happened in the current scope of market is that more and more operations are coming into picture. And one of the main triggering event is IoT, right? Internet of Things. So in that particular cases, the IEEE kind of a smart grid, where you have this basic concept of okay. So this is what the basic understanding of the technological landscape, like the what is the foundation and everything of that scenario. Okay, so basically I let's go to the next slide of what I'm giving an example of a sources of smart grid, right? See, today's market, mainly whatever I talk about the smart grid is AMI, right, which is nothing but your smart meters, right? Mainly I'm talking about the smart meters kind of a thing, that which is widely popular in the market. If you take over the smart meters, right, everywhere, not in India. You cannot take up example of smart meter in India because it's still picking it up. But you take out the smart meters around the world. So US, if you take, right, almost 60 to 70% smart meters are implemented. You take about the other European market, almost all the smart meters are there. So every other country is moving into the smart meters, like which is known as an AMI. AMI is the advanced metering infrastructure. So people coming from a smart energy background or electricity background might understand, but what I'm talking about is mainly how, because basically IoT, all right, IoT works more on the business side, there on the technology side. So when the smart meter said, how do you capture the data from the meters, is known as IoT, right? Is Internet of Things, because AMI meters have sensors has communication. That communication is collected over the air, and then it is transmitted to some database to do further analytics, right? Whether you big data or you are machine learning, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether you deep learning, so you name anything, it works like that. So one is the AMI, which is an advanced metering infrastructure, and the second is nothing but your distribution automation. Like you, as the basic knowledge, right? The basic, if you go back to the basics of electricity, to give you background, right? The entire utilities market is divided into three things. One is the generation company, transmission and distribution company, and the other is nothing but your retail, which is supplier company. So most of the assets, right? IoT comes very popular in the assets, right? Where the asset is there. Like for example, all your distribution, like whether it's your substation, whether it's feeder, whether it is any other asset, right? This automation comes. That's what you people are talking about more on the distribution automation. Like you are, how do I monitor my substation? How do I monitor my feeder? How do I monitor my entire distribution network? So that is where you're like, that's a stop of a grid equipment, whatever I'm talking about. Okay, so this is what the distribution automation. And apart from that, see, this smart grid, right, is like an ocean. Like IoT is an ocean, smart grid is also a ocean, right? You can talk about so many use cases, so many examples to make the grid smart, and IoT plays a very important role. See, because it's a business driven solution, because tomorrow all the future IT technologies will driven by business. Previously, if you talk about minute, all the business is driven by the IT. Means I'm talking about, right? The IT drives the business. Now today it's not that. The business is driving the IT. Okay, there's a business requirement. Okay, IT should plug it. It's not the other way. So like that, right? Another is asset management. Asset management is also widely popular in the market, in the IoT market. In the IoT examples I'm talking about, right? How do I make make, for example, I have a machine, right? I have a meter, or I have a transformer. So that transformer, right, will popular it very efficiently. And most of the best example you take are like I think good old days, like 4 or 5 years back, the same example will be taken, right, for the asset management. Like the example is very simpler. Like people will say, example is that there is a in front of the Obama house, right? The president's house. There is a transformer, right? Because the electricity world of US is 100 years back. So the transformer is working, right? But what is exactly happening is it is consuming more than what is exactly, because it's an age-old machine and no one is monitoring it. So now, right, actually it has to monitor it. So this is an asset management. So there should be some IoT enabled to that asset, so that, right, it can be constantly monitored. So that kind of leverages you have in the IoT examples in the smart grid. So I'm giving only a few cases like AMI, distribution automation, asset management. But if you see this block, right, each one block is domain. In that domain, and they have subdomains. In the subdomain, there are some references. So as I told you, right, there is a huge scope in the business opportunities as well as in the IoT opportunities. And once the data is coming, right, because AMI produces data, when I say real-time monitoring, right, again, IoT analytics plays into picture. Like maintaining smart grid technology, again, the data is coming. Like I want to maintain a set. So all your IoT and analytics plays a very critical role in each one is a use case. AMI, smart meters, grid equipment, which comes under distribution automation. right? Which is a firmware, which is an asset management. Everyone has a role in that. So what I did is I've taken one use case, utilities, IoT analytics. Is this is nothing but your one US utility company, right? What they did is they implemented smart meters all over their place location, and then now, right, there is a meter data and it is sending the data. So now, right now, what they want is like they want to check, right, how much consumption is done by each individual person, and I want to do a demand response or a demand side management for that particular event or particular processes. So that is the use case they did. They've installed smart meters, and then now from the smart meters, they are collecting the data and then try to do some IoT analytics. Okay, so that is what. One second, there is a question from someone. Okay, what I will do is I'll just answer the chat, right? Somebody has messaged me something. Let me check. Just hold on. No, somebody has said audio is not transmitting. Maybe somebody is not able to hear. I think but I see somebody is listening to my audio. Some have some problems with the audio. Okay, so but I think that everyone is, others are listening, right? Others are able to hear me. Yes, people are hearing it, but maybe some bandwidth issue at some of the places, but as people are able to hear my voice. Okay, so as I told you, right, this is one of the examples which I want to share it with you, which related to the IoT on the utilities. The same example I want to, like, in the demand side management. So mainly on the structured and unstructured data. So for example, most of the utilities kind of, I think that they have a structured and unstructured data. Okay, so and there is a SCADA and AMI integration. So this is more of a challenges. Today's market is what is happening is there's a lot of data available, like whether it is a structured, unstructured, SCADA data, meter data. So the challenge today, right, there is a 70 terabyte of operational data. That's a huge data sitting, not evaluating anything. It is collecting the data, means it is producing the data, 70 terabytes of operation data. But today you have to, because every company has to analyze the data and get a business benefit out of that. Okay, so what is the business benefits I will get it with this entire amount of data? You get a benefit is I will get a demand response settlements, means which is known as a EMV, like a measurement and verifications for energy efficiency. Like basically you are from the electricity background or you are working for an energy audit, so they understand this, right? Because at the end you have to give some conservation solutions to the utility company. How do they get save the power, right? So these all things benefits you get, and then these are challenges. So what is happening is in the IoT analytics per se, right? So they have a future benefits, especially in this particular area of the market. Okay, said that what is the follow-up actions? What we are doing is, right, this is one of the use cases which we do. So what we are doing in Hyderabad is from next week we are planning to set up a lab. So that's what I told you in the last session also, that we are planning to set up a IoT R&D lab in Hyderabad, basically to address these use cases. And we know, right, because I know if it would have been today, it would have been if I show some demo, right, for last 5 minutes I can show that entire demo to you, you would have appreciated it. Or else if I ask you to come to a premise and then show you an online demo, or like a demo on a face-to-face, so you would be more happy. So what we are trying to convert it, all the use cases which we talked, right, we want to convert into that particular concept which is already delivered at some place, right? Can we do it on our site? So that's what we are trying to do. That's what we are trying to bring in few people, interested people from this meetup group who are physically present in Hyderabad, come and work with us. With a group of people, we are asking them to come with us, like if they are interested, if they have the knowledge. Like for example, right, we are looking at IoT embedded guys. We are looking at IoT big data guys. We are looking for IoT machine learning guys, right? We are looking at IoT cloud guys. We are looking at IoT mobile guys, right? So what we are trying to do in the entire scope of the project, right, in this particular sessions, so that entire end-to-end integration, right? For example, the best use case is AMI. The meter is collecting the data, and today I want to show that whether it's structured data, unstructured data, right? Can I show it as a display? So I'm giving an example. The same use case which I talk about this, right? Can it be replicable in a lab? Can it be done by us? What are the challenges we'll face to that? So these all things, right? As a part of R&D initiative, we are planning to do that. So already a few people have enrolled and then they have given their names, right? But I want to see from this meetup, that's the whole idea of also conducting these sessions, right? Who are is really interested can get back to me, right? And then maybe I will evaluate, right, where you can really fit into that, and then take the next action plans on that. Okay, said that, right, I'm done with the session. So what I will do is I'll open the forum for question and answers. So if you have any specific questions, anything you want to ask, we'll take that, and then we'll be in touch. And if you don't have any questions, we'll touch with the next follow-up actions. Okay, anyone has any questions?
Vijay, can you hear me? This is Pani.
Okay.
Right. So can you also speak about some of the technology landscape that you are proposing here? You said some meter, right?
Yes.
So what could be the components you could be using in the IoT and on the analytics side?
See, on the analytics side, basically, as I told you then, the structure, the technical landscape is not constant to client, because I cannot project, but in general, there are platforms like I'm talking about the IoT platforms, which you can always talk about a GE Predicts platform. People are going for the energy, right? There is a GE Predicts platform. Like almost there is some other platforms in the market, like AWS IoT platform, right? So there are a lot of platforms which the smart meter can play into it. But what we are trying to do in this particular concept of what we are working on, right? It's a generic customized platform. I'm not talking about any standard platform. Like for example, okay, the data is coming from smart meters. It can be collected through a gateway, and then after that, it will directly push into the Hadoop. It's a big data Hadoop. From the Hadoop, you just directly connect into a small database like Hive. From that, right, you just display on the UI visualization, any visualization to display it. Okay, so that's the standard process we want to do. But in the bigger landscape, right, you talk about any bigger utility company industry, they go with the standard cloud era platforms or open network platforms. So they go with the standard platform.
Hi Vijay, this is Anand.
Yes.
So you're talking about the AMI, right? So yes. It is only collect the energy information from individual house, or it is also collecting information from all the individual appliances in a single home, like a TV, how much TV is consuming, and how much a washing machine is consuming, and that also it records and sends to that database in cloud. It is only collecting information from the individual house.
See, AMI always works with the meters.
Okay.
Appliance, like for example, today you're talking about a house, right? In a house, if you have the capabilities, like that leverage of connecting your washing machine to a single phase meter, yes, you will send, but not directly a smart meter talking through an AMI structure. No, it's not AMI. AMI is only metering event processing. Right? Okay. So it can remotely disconnect a meter to AMI, remotely connect a meter to AMI. So everything works with the meter, only meter.
Okay. You're talking about there are three phases in Hyderabad, so it will cut any of the phases remotely, right?
Yes, absolutely. You can connect it. Cut
Okay,
it.
okay.
Yes, you are right.
Yeah. And it will calculate the energy consumption by each phase, how much it is consuming, a number of devices connected to each phase. So it is uh, getting the information from all this, right?
Absolutely.
Not individual item.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, normally in a technical term, it's a three registers. We talk three phases, three register. Each register is equal to each phase. That each register will consume consumption data, right? Each thing, and then you'll calculate on that. Yes.
Okay. So okay. So it is not controlling individual appliance in home.
No, you don't. Not through AMI. They have other systems. We can do that, but not through AMI.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There are the individual sensors that you can control through.
Yeah. See,
Not only.
that becomes an IoT project. That's not a smart meter or
Yeah.
smart grid project. See, the
Yeah.
meters
Yeah.
is only on the house controlling. Like, see, meters is not only talking about the houses, right? At the
Yeah.
transformers also you have meters. At the substation level also you have meters. So the RTUs are there. So everything in meters is not only I'm talking about at the retail space. I'm talking about at the distribution phase also you have meters. That is mainly smart meters.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah.
So any more questions?
Okay.
Who is this?
And you're talking about this is Anand only. Yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about energy measurement and verification. Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you mean by verification? I did not get that point. Verification.
See, this is the standard audit terminology, right? If you go to any auditor, right, what they do
Yeah.
is verification that's the general term, right? Because they get the data. Verification is done by single auditor. Like in today's market, where every industry is mandated to give energy auditing certificate every 3 years. That is a mandate.
Okay.
So today, what they
This is
do,
done.
that's what I'm talking about, EMV.
Okay. This is done by cloud analytics, right?
Yeah, it's done by cloud
Okay.
and absolutely. We give the cloud and they do the cloud analytics. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
So any more questions?
And you're talking about the lab session, workshops, kind of thing, right? Uh,
Yes,
this is,
Anand.
yeah, yeah. Where is it actually? And how can I
Actually,
approach it?
see, there are two places which I'm talking about because actually I thought of putting it Miapur. So people are saying that, right? What is the thing they said? Sir, we are staying at LB Nagar. We're staying somewhere like that. So they were asking to put a convenient place is heart of the city. So when they say what is
Oh,
heart of the city, so people are saying that okay, let's